The culture of MMU is so much different. From engineer, you become an entrepreneur, a speaker, a trainer. What happened in 2009 was I moved from my hometown in Muar, which I used to work as an engineer, and I moved to KL, which I think in KL there's a lot of opportunity. One of the opportunity triggers me was an author, a speaker by the name of Robert Kiyosaki came to Malaysia in 2009, and I signed up for the program. I was like attending the seminar. I felt like really motivated. I really like changed my life, changed my perspective of how I view life. And since then, I became a seminar junkie. I jumped from one seminar to another seminar to another seminar to another seminar. And deep down inside my heart, I always every time I attend that seminar, I always think like, I want to be like him. I want to be like him. Because from the seminar, it's actually, they really impacted how I think. And because of that, I managed to perform slightly better. So for example, like in one of my previous company that I work with, I managed to get about huge increment in a short period of less than a year. So somewhere in 2013, I make a decision that I wanted to quit my job and being a trainer as a full-time. The turning point really happened somewhere in 2011, whereby I have this opportunity to coordinate a leadership program for one of the GLC. So it's a very intense program talking about leadership. The program doesn't turn out to be what I expected and what the customer even expected. Which I think the message of what leadership is and how to be a good leader wasn't successfully delivered at the time. And that led me to a question of who can I learn from. So I began to Google and research, and I found a gentleman by the name of Atta Karmazi, who's now being my mentor. And I signed up for the program called the Colored Brain Communications, and after that I further my programs until a few levels. So why I am very much interested in profiling, because I think profiling provides all the answers. So when I mentioned about, a lot of people ask me, oh, how come you become an engineer, then from engineer you become a speaker, a trainer. If you know that you want to be being a trainer or speaker, why did you study engineering in the first place? In 1999, I have this opportunity to do, a counselor gave me a test called the Holland Code. And based on that test, I was being identified as an artistic person. Because of I am an artistic person, and I knew it when I was like literally in Form 4, Form 5, before I further studies in the university. But the problem is the person that gave me that test didn't did the debriefing correctly, or at least accurately, because of he suggested to me, he says that you don't be an artistic person. You should be someone who, because we are in science school, I used to study in science school, you have to take something at least in science, because of the government have paid us a lot of money, sponsor your study in my secondary school, and then you should at least pay the government back by being someone who probably an engineer, an astronaut, or scientist, or probably chemist, which is science related. So at that time, I was like, yeah, probably that is right. So that's where I decided to become an engineer. I think profiling is very powerful tool, because it tells a lot about you, and you can be more of yourself. You can be authentic of yourself if you know who you are and you be true to who you are, not try to become someone else. So my life journey is about me being someone else, and I was struggling. I work very hard, but I still struggle because of I am not being the best version of myself. So being a trainer, being a speaker, to me is a performance, because every time I'm on stage, it's like a performance, and that is really who I am, which is an artist. So talking about Colored Brain, and we developed some other profiles that we are still developing, which is we call Talent Zone. Actually, this is to help others to identify who they are at their core and being the best version of themselves. And I think that is what leadership is all about. It's all about understanding yourself first. Understanding your values and pursue, because of whatever vision that we wanted to set must be aligned with our values, and if our values is strong enough, that provides energy, and energy for us to move forward, to bring the society forward, to solve the problem that we care about, not because of the problem that someone tells us we should solve. And when we can be true to ourselves, we be honest with ourselves, every one of us can be a good leader, and it need to have a lot of self-reflection, deep internalization, and understanding who we are at our core. So as a result, I wrote this book called The Komunikasi Warna, which is talking about the colored brain, understanding us, understanding ourselves, understanding people around us, so that we can communicate with others and reduce conflict in terms of our communication. And I have my second book talking about Kompas Kepemimpinan, Leadership Compass, which this book is my perspective towards how leaders can be effective in the 21st century. Okay, when talk about MMU, I think gone were the days that university is a place where we learn, we pass exams, and we enjoy our career. University should be an ecosystem, whereby ecosystem is a platform not only for the students but also for the alumni, also for the societies around, so that we can actually make use of the platform. Because I think MMU have a very good number one, very good branding, a very good reputation, and we have a very good human resources. We have a very good alumni that if we can contribute together, we can come together, we can make everyone stronger. So this is what happened with universities like Harvard. They are not great because of one part of it great, or not only because of their lecturers are great, but because of the whole ecosystem. Those who studied come back and give back and share and make the platform great. Because of, if MMU one day becomes number one top in the world, whoever being studied in MMU for the past 20 years will be benefited. So I urge Permata Dunia out there, let's come back to MMU and contribute in whatever means that we can for us to become strong. Let's start with ourselves. Let's contribute whatever we can for the university, so that the university becomes stronger, and together we can prosper.